Tonight on Q2, silencing speeders.
I've been through probably 15 vehicles that have been in my yard, and causing damage.
City Council aims to crack down on speeding and noise, with one member proposing citations could be given off observation alone. Plus, a shocking decision.
Custer County as well as Bighorn County, Miles City and Hardin, were the two entities that felt we had the resources that would meet the state's needs.
The new state mental hospital is headed for Laurel, but some are expressing disappointment over the selection process. And from the sky to the water.
They got in very close. I maybe estimated 15 yards. I guess it's closer than that.
FWP and local law enforcement load into a helicopter to save 4 elk from a frozen pond. We'll show you next on the MTN 10 o'clock news.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening, and thanks for joining us on this Monday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. 97 miles per hour on Shiloh Road. That's how fast one driver has been clocked. And now the Billings City Council is aiming to crack down on speed, loud cars, and stereos. They talked about ideas for an ordinance to make that happen at tonight's City Council work session. Shiloh far from being the only problem area. One resident on St. Andrews in the Heights telling us multiple cars have landed just feet from his window. Our Isabel Sparks has more.
Rick Matuziak has lived in this Billings Heights neighborhood for over 40 years.
It's a nice road. It's got sidewalks.
And the St. Andrews Drive resident says over that time, trouble has landed just outside his door.
She actually hit those bricks.
He's noticed a constant problem with speeding.
They hit that valley bump and they lose control of their vehicle, and they end up actually coming into my yard. I've lost at least 5 or 6 mailboxes.
Over the years, he's lost several trees, had a parked van totaled, and even had a close call with one woman coming just feet from his living room. He says all resulting from bad driving and this dip in the road.
I've been through probably 15 vehicles that have been in my yard, and causing damage.
A recent study done by Billings Police shows that of the sampling of traffic in a 2-week period, 90% of drivers exceeded the 25 miles per hour speed limit on the street, and 10% was classified as excessive speeding. And that's not the only spot. On Rolling Hills Drive, 61% were recorded speeding, and on Shiloh Road, 38% were going faster than the 45 miles per hour limit. And according to the study, that speeding is also creating a lot of noise.
There's a lot on our plate when it comes to traffic.
Councilmember Tom Rupsis hopes to pass an initiative that officers could cite violations for unreasonable noise outside regular hours without the use of sound equipment. And to back up that hope, Public Works also completed a traffic study at Shiloh, King Avenue West, and Glen Eagles to present to the council.
I think tonight is more about identifying the issue based on this really small sample set, and then figuring out where we go from here.
Public Works Director Debbie Melling said while it found excessive noise, the study did not find unusual nighttime noise on Shiloh.
What we're trying to do, I think, is define or at least figure out tonight, are we looking at trying to do something about people going 60 miles an hour, or are we looking at people that are going 85 and racing at night?
While the council will discuss the findings to determine its direction, Matuziak says he'd support it.
It certainly couldn't hurt. I'm all for taking care of the law.
In Billings, Isabel Sparks, MTN News.
The state has seen its first flu death of the season. That death being reported in Missoula County comes at a time when state health officials are warning of a rise in respiratory illnesses across Montana. So far this season, Montana has seen 234 cases of influenza, 6 hospitalizations, and now this one death. The FDA's vaccine chief says the agency plans to tighten approval standards for COVID vaccines, citing concerns about potential risks for children. In a leaked memo confirmed by CBS News, Dr. Vinay Prasad says a review of records links 10 children's deaths to the COVID vaccine. He did not provide data to support that claim. Another doctor weighed in on vaccine risks to children, cautioning against the claims.
There is no definitive evidence that COVID vaccines cause death in children. No definitive evidence that COVID vaccines are dangerous for children.
Okay.
What we do know is COVID infection is dangerous. Again, over 2,000 children have died from COVID since the start of the pandemic. And that is what you want to guard against.
Myocarditis and inflammation of the heart muscle has been reported after COVID-19 vaccination, but studies show the risk is much higher after a COVID infection. The American Academy of Pediatrics strongly recommends COVID shots for children ages 6 months to 2 years. The new state mental health hospital is on its way to Laurel. The state unveiled the plan on Friday, but it's a decision still garnering a lot of questions. Several other cities pushed for the 32-bed facility, including Hardin and Miles City. Well, Laurel seemingly showed very little interest. As our Hannah Pettiferi explains, that has some leaders frustrated over the decision-making process.
Some hoped a new mental health hospital would bring an economic boom to rural counties in eastern Montana.
That's where our economic base philosophy comes from, is having those individuals in your community, those circulate dollars within your economy.
But in Miles City and Hardin, those hopes slipped away after Laurel was picked by the state as the future site of the 32-bed facility.
Custer County as well as Bighorn County, Miles City and Hardin, were the two entities that felt we had the resources that would meet the state's needs.
Hardin and Miles City submitted official proposals to the state, but Laurel didn't, and that's why some are frustrated. Instead, Laurel sent this letter from Chief Administrator Kirk Marketgard.
It says there was no suitable location within city limits to build the hospital, but Marketgard did identify a yet-to-be-identified site in the county that could potentially be annexed.
To have a decision made that a site was selected that was not one of the two proposals submitted seems a little disingenuous in regards to the process that the state chose to put forward.
That frustration also shared by leaders in Bighorn County.
I think the state overlooked us and saw what it could have did for us generationally. The impact would have been great.
MTN has reached out to the state seeking more information about why Laurel was ultimately chosen. We also reached out to Marketgard to learn exactly where the hospital will be built. So far, those specifics haven't been announced.
I've heard various things. I don't know if I should comment because I haven't heard for sure.
Yellowstone County Commissioner Mike Waters was caught off guard by the announcement.
I was surprised, and I think my colleagues were surprised.
He too has questions about the path forward.
Without a real plan and resources committed to it, what does it look like in the future?
Regardless, the hospital is coming to Laurel. Exactly when and where, still questions without answers.
We all understand that we need more capacity for, forensic facilities in Montana.
At the end of the day, it benefits us all if the state is successful in getting this project completed.
In Yellowstone County, Hannah Pettiferi, MTN News.
And good Monday evening, everyone. Most of today had fairly quiet weather around much of Montana and Wyoming, except we had a lot of gusty wind. Very windy weather in Harleton, Big Timber, as well as Livingston right now. Just a few minutes ago, we had gusts of 69 miles an hour in Big Timber. We also have some light snow showers trying to fall, mostly over the I-94 corridor. A lot of that's not hitting the ground just yet, but more chances for snow are moving our direction. And we can see that looking at our forecast going forward. Late tonight through early tomorrow, here's 5 a.m. A better chance for some more light to locally moderate amounts of snow falling. And then we're going to have a cold front moving our direction out of the north. That's going to give us another chance for some more snow and colder air. Your 7-day forecast is coming up.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is coming under scrutiny for reports about a September 2nd boat attack in the Caribbean. This comes as a U.S. delegation prepares to meet face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow Tuesday in a bid to hammer out a deal to end Russia's war with Ukraine. Tarian Small is in Washington with the latest.
The Trump administration continues to step up U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, moving the USS Gerald Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, to St. Thomas. This comes as one of the 21 drug boat strikes on suspected narco-terrorists is now under scrutiny. The Washington Post reported Secretary Hegseth gave a verbal order to kill everybody on board. When two survived, the Special Operations Commander overseeing the attack ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions, and the two other men were blown apart in the water. Hegseth has denied he gave any such order.
Pete said he did not order the death of those two men.
Lawmakers in both parties have vowed to investigate.
We're going to conduct oversight and we're going to try to get to the facts.
This rises to the level of a war crime if it's true.
Meanwhile, in Europe, the U.S. remains intent on bringing the war between Russia and Ukraine to an end. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Ukrainian negotiators in Florida over the weekend. And on Tuesday, a U.S. delegation is set to conduct meetings in Moscow. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner are set to talk face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin about ending his country's war with Ukraine. Late Sunday, President Trump expressed optimism.
I think that there's a good chance we can make a deal.
European leaders expressed concern on Monday that Ukraine could be pressured into making an unfavorable deal that would set the stage for future invasions. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
This evening, state leaders mark the start of the holiday season by lighting the Capitol Christmas tree.
3, 2, 1.
Governor Greg Gianforte led the countdown to lighting up the 29-foot Douglas fir. The Carroll College choirs were on hand to sing a few Christmas carols. The 450-pound tree was cut down last week on National Forest land near Seeley Lake. State workers decorated it with more than 3,600 lights and 950 ornaments. Gianforte says the annual tree lighting is one of his favorite events to take part in as governor.
Oh, the tree brightens the Capitol. It fills up the entire rotunda. And I want to invite all Montanans. It's going to be on display for the entire month of December. Come and see your tree in your house.
Today also kicked off the annual 12 Days of Giving campaign, where Gianforte highlights volunteers and charities around the state.